It's nice to see y'all. I hope y'all are having a good day. So good morning, good evening, good night for anyone that is working on this, all you remote learners. So we're gonna go through this and talk about it about sink or float. So we're gonna have a beaker that is 500 milliliters of water. So with the 500 milliliters of water, we're gonna do items to see if they were gonna be sinking or floating. So what you're going to be doing for remote learners is going to be going into Teams underneath assignments at the top, and you're going to complete a form that says hypothesis. And with that hypothesis, you're going to complete is an if-then statement. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. But when it comes to a hypothesis, you're going to make sure you write it again, an if-then statement. So what items we're going to be using today is a ping pong ball, a block of wood, marble, and a toothpick. So with that, for our hypothesis, it was dealing with density. So if the item, which it could be the item of a ping pong ball, a block of wood, a toothpick, or a marble, has, or you can choose either has or does not have much density, then it will, and then you have to choose either it will sink or float. So you need to make sure and figure out from there what hypothesis you have. It could be, for instance, if the item has much density, then it will float, or whatever it is that you choose that you think is the best hypothesis for that. So let's get started. So again, I said that we're going to have a ping pong ball, a block of wood, a marble, and a toothpick. So for that, we're going to continue on and see what our experiment is about. So we have a ping pong ball, and then we have our beaker that's 500 milliliters of water. So we need to really see if this ping pong ball is going to float or sink. So with that, we're going to see if it will float or sink. Let's see what our prediction is. Was your prediction right? So with the ping pong ball, it floats. The reason why it floats is because it is less dense than water, or the density of the ping pong ball is less than the water. So again, that's dealing with if we can figure out if something is light. Density is dealing with light. So right now, this ping pong ball is light, or a density can be heavy. So it just depends. In this case, again, the ping pong ball is light, so it's less dense than water. Let's go to a block of wood. So a block of wood, will it sink or float based off of if it's less dense or more dense? Let's think about that for a second. What would your prediction be? Was your prediction right? So with this block of wood, it's less dense. It's less dense than water. So with that, you will see that it will float. So again, it's not as heavy compared to water, and that's why it will float. Next is a marble. What would you think would happen to the marble? Will it sink or float? Is it more dense or is it less dense? Which one is it? Was your prediction right? So with this, we're seeing is that the marble sank and it went to the bottom of the beaker, which means it is more dense than water. It's heavier than water. So that's the best way you can understand what density is. It could either be light or heavy. And we use water to show you how density works compared to water. Our last one is toothpick, sorry. And with that, we're going to see if it's going to sink or float. Let's think about that for a second. Is it more or less dense than water? We got to really think about that and see if it's going to be sinking or floating. Let's think about what our prediction is going to be. Was your prediction right? So based off of what we did for our experiment is that the toothpick will float based off of it being less dense than water. So again, it will float because it's less dense, it's lighter than water. So let's think about it, okay? Let's think about why we did this experiment and what it meant for if it would float versus sink. So, why did the items float and why did they sink? So, I know we talked about it several times. Is that density is dealing with if it's heavier or light. So, if an item is less dense, it's going to float compared to water. If the item is more dense compared to water, it's going to sink. So again, density plays a role based off of the water and how items will sink or float. So you really need to think about that when it comes to that. And you can think of it of everyday life type of situations because you can see different items that could possibly be on water, and you look at it and you go, "Oh, that's why that item floats. That's why that item sinks," based off of um, the item itself. So hopefully this makes a little more sense of why density plays a role with water and items itself. So I hope y'all have a good day and make sure to not forget to do your hypothesis. See you later, guys. Bye.